Oh, there it is.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Janan Cato with the Zoning Administration Division. I'm joined by Carmen Bishop and Bill Mayland. We'll be presenting on the proposed zoning ordinance amendment for congregate living facilities. Then we'll open it up for questions. Also, feel free to put any questions you have in the chat, and we can address them after. Our goal with this outreach is to gather more input as we continue to refine the amendment. We also have the webpage, and on the webpage, we have the staff summary and draft text with additional details. For background, this amendment originates from the 2025 Zoning Ordinance Work Program, which the board endorsed in June. Congregate living facilities were identified as a priority 1 item, directing staff to review zoning provisions for congregate living facilities to potentially expand the districts where they're allowed and revise the definition and standards to include uses like homeless shelters and supportive housing. This direction builds on past discussions. The Housing Committee back in November 2022 directed staff to look at zoning barriers for facilities serving people experiencing homelessness. And the 2025 work program item was carried forward from an earlier work program topic in 2023-2024 and a December 2022 board matter that flagged this need. So this amendment is intended to revise the definition of congregate living facilities and provide more flexibility in where they can be located. Under today's ordinance, a congregate living facility is defined as housing in a supervised setting with on-site counselors or staff. They may include inpatient alcohol and addiction treatment and services for more than 8 persons with disabilities. Also, a certified recovery residence with over 8 residents may also fall under this definition. The definition clarifies that congregate living facilities are distinct from group households, assisted living facilities, or group residential facilities. Those are different uses that are limited by age, disability, or resident count. By contrast, congregate living facilities can serve more diverse populations with broader supportive needs and don't have a maximum resident count under the zoning ordinance. That distinction means that congregate living facilities serve populations that don't fit neatly into other categories. Currently, congregate living facilities are permitted with special exception approval in all conventional residential districts except for rural agricultural, as well as in commercial districts C1 through C4. In planned districts, they must either be shown on the development plan or approved by special exception. There's also a location standard, which stipulates that if the facility looks like a single-family detached house, it follows that district's setbacks. Otherwise, it must be located at least 100 feet from all lot lines that abut the R1 through R4 residential districts and 45 feet from all other lot lines, or as determined by the board. The congregate living facility use was first added to the zoning ordinance in 2003. Since that time, there have been 6 special exceptions approved. Each one has been in a residential district. The facilities serve a range of populations: survivors of human trafficking, women escaping domestic violence, adolescents with eating disorders, and one serving retired and current priests. The draft text for the proposed amendment revises and clarifies the definition. The new language identifies the range of populations served, including persons experiencing homelessness, survivors of violence or abuse, youth in crisis, families in medical crises, or facilities that don't meet the state code requirements for a group residential facility due to the services provided and or the number of residents. also certified recovery residences with more than 8 residents. The current definition only specifies alcohol and addiction treatment and treatment for more than 8 persons with disabilities. By identifying these populations, the ordinance will better reflect the facilities already operating, and it also ensures clarity for applicants and staff and distinguishes this use from others like assisted living or group residential facilities. The draft text expands permissions into additional districts, still by special exception. Specifically, congregate living facilities could be considered in commercial districts C5 through C8 and in industrial districts I2 through I4. The intent here is flexibility. These districts may offer additional and possibly larger sites, more affordable land, or opportunities for adaptive reuse of vacant buildings. Many are also located near transit and community services, which helps residents connect with resources. We're not proposing to extend permissions into the heavier I5 and I6 industrial districts because those areas are less compatible with residential uses. With expanding the permissions, we also want to maintain compatibility with surrounding land uses, and so we're also proposing additional development standards. The intent with the development standards is to strike a balance of flexibility and compatibility with residential. They aren't intended to impose new requirements, but rather to codify current approaches. First, we're proposing that facilities in commercial and industrial districts must be located near public transit, community services, and employment areas so that residents can reasonably access opportunities and support. Second, we're also proposing that congregate living facilities may not be located in the 3 areas designated as industrial on the concept for future development map in the comprehensive plan. This preserves industrial land while still allowing congregate living facilities in industrial district locations that are planned for mixed-use centers. Third, we're proposing a development standard that requires on-site staff and supportive services, except with a recovery residence. These services could include case management, transportation assistance, or healthcare support, would ensure that residents are receiving the needed services and assistance to improve outcomes. Finally, a new submission requirement would require applicants to describe the population served, the number of residents and staff, the services offered, length of stay, any licensing requirements, and intake criteria for the residents. This would provide a clear picture when reviewing applications and also ensure transparency about the facility's purpose. So up to this point, we've presented to the board's land use policy and the committee and the Planning Commission's land use process review committee. We have community meetings scheduled in November, this one, and then we also have one tomorrow evening. And we're continuing to reach out to community organizations. We're hoping to bring it forward for board authorization in January. And then if authorized, a Planning Commission public hearing in February, and then going forward for the board public hearing in March. Thank you, everyone. Happy to answer any questions. You can also put them in the chat if you're more comfortable with that. Okay. Well, I am also available by email. Thank you, Megan. I'm also available by email, so feel free to send me an email if you think of any questions later on. So yeah, thank you, everyone. I will stop the recording now.